Have you ever felt a ghost in your own home? It's not a spirit, but the chilling presence of a future that's been murdered. I felt it that night, standing outside our bedroom, the door cracked, just enough to frame a nightmare. My wife Isabella was on the phone, her back to me, her voice a low, conspiratorial whisper. She was laughing. It wasn't the warm laugh she used for me, but a sharp metallic sound, like coins clinking in a pocket. Through the gap, I could see her screen glowing, a text thread with a name I didn't know, Julian. And as I zoomed in with my phone's camera, my world fractured. She was sending him pictures, not of herself, but of my architectural blueprints, my private financial statements, my life's work. She was liquidating me piece by piece, selling my organs on the black market while I was still alive. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. For 10 years, I'd given Isabella everything. Sprawling penthouse overlooking the Chicago River, a life cushioned by the success I'd bled for, brick by brick, design by design. I was a good husband, loyal, trusting, a fool. The strange behavior had started subtly. Late-night client emergencies, hushed phone calls she'd take on the balcony, even in the biting Chicago wind. She started treating me with a cool, dismissive air, as if my presence was an inconvenience. The woman who once admired my ambition now seemed to resent it, her eyes glossing over when I spoke of my projects. She and her lover, Julian, a smug real estate shark I'd met at a gala, felt untouchable. They'd mock my simple loyalty in their texts, laughing at the man whose empire they were plotting to carve up. One night, after she came home smelling of expensive cologne that wasn't mine, I broke. The weight of it all, the quiet humiliation, the slow emotion theft of my life, crushed me. I sat in my home office, surrounded by the models of buildings I'd designed, and I shattered into a million silent pieces. But in that wreckage, something new was forged. The broken man began to piece himself back together, not with loyalty, but with cold, hard strategy. My grief turned to ice in my veins. I started gathering proof. I hired a private investigator, a former cop with eyes that missed nothing. He documented every secret lunch at Gibson's, every weekend trip to a boutique hotel on the Gold Coast disguised as a spa retreat. I installed software that mirrored her devices to a burner laptop, collecting every deleted text, every damning email. I learned the full scope of her betrayal. She wasn't just cheating. She was conspiring with Julian to use my stolen project bids to undercut my firm and bankrupt me, leaving her free to claim the lion's share in a divorce settlement. It was a corporate assassination, and I was the target. The trap was set. I arranged a meeting with my most important client, a billionaire investor, for a new skyscraper project, the biggest of my career. I knew Isabella would feed the details to Julian. I created 2 sets of plans, a fake one with critical, deliberate flaws, and the real one. The night before the presentation, I accidentally left the flawed blueprints on my desk. As expected, she photographed them and sent them to her lover. The next morning, Julian's firm presented a nearly identical but fundamentally flawed bid just an hour before mine. Then, I walked into that boardroom and presented my masterpiece, the real one. The investor, a man who valued integrity above all, saw the genius in my design and the treachery in Julian's almost identical but flawed proposal. He awarded me the contract on the spot, but the real revenge wasn't in a boardroom. It was public. I waited. A month later, Isabella hosted a massive charity gala, her signature social event of the year. She stood on stage, radiant in a gown, bought with my money, speaking about trust and integrity. As she paused for applause, the massive screens behind her, meant to display donor names, flickered. Her face, smiling and smug, was replaced by screenshots of her texts with Julian. His condescending words about me, her cruel laughter in digital form. Then photos of their secret meetings. And finally, the ultimate evidence, a crystal-clear audio recording from my office. Capturing her call with Julian, where she detailed her plan to ruin me, her voice dripping with venomous greed. The silence in that ballroom was a physical thing. It was heavy, suffocating. Every eye was on her. The whispers started, then grew into a roar of judgment. Her perfect world, built on my foundation, crumbled to dust in seconds. She was ruined. Socially, financially, and when my lawyer served her with divorce papers citing criminal conspiracy and infidelity right there, in front of everyone, she was legally destroyed. She just stood there, a statue of shame, as the life drained from her eyes. I left Chicago. I didn't need to see the aftermath. The news followed. Majulian's firm was under investigation, his reputation shattered. Isabella was a social pariah, fighting a legal battle she had no hope of winning. I moved to a small, quiet town on the coast, where the sound of the ocean washes away the city noise. I still design buildings, but they're smaller now, more personal. Sometimes late at night I think of her. Not with anger, not anymore. Just a quiet, haunting emptiness. It's strange how the person you build your world around can become the one who demolishes it. I survived, but a part of me is buried forever in the rubble of that Chicago penthouse. I won, but I lost everything to win it. The end.